The Puck Portfolio with Andy MacNeil.
Hey, welcome to the Puck Portfolio. My name is Andy MacNeil. I'm your host. I'm here on weekdays breaking down the NHL playoffs from a betting perspective. This show is presented by NorthStar Bets. And on today's show, we'll be breaking down the first round two matchup that we have scheduled between the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers. Of course, the Rangers won the President's Trophy, so they will have home ice advantage in this series. And it'll be the third time in the last 5 seasons that Carolina and New York face off in the playoffs. In 2020, Carolina, a minus 140 series favorite, swept the Rangers in the best of five qualifying round. However, in 2022, the Rangers, a plus 170 series underdog, defeated the Hurricanes 4-3 in the second round. The Rangers went 2-1 straight up against the Hurricanes in the regular season, and Igor Shesterkin started every game against Carolina in the regular season, boasting a .915 save percentage. Shesterkin's 9-8 career record versus the Hurricanes might not look all that impressive, but he went 1-6 in his first 7 games played against Carolina, so he's been pretty good since, allowing 2 or fewer goals in 10 out of his 17 career games played against the Hurricanes, and it makes a big difference when comparing these two teams. The Carolina Hurricanes have scored 3.3 goals per game dating back to the start of the 2022-23 regular season, but they've scored just 2.3 goals per game against the Rangers during that time. So Carolina did light up Shesterkin once this season. They scored 6 goals on 27 shots in a 6-1 win back on January 2nd, but Shesterkin has won 8 of his last 11 starts versus the Hurricanes regular season and playoffs, dating back to Game 3 of the second round in 2022. However, while the Rangers did sweep the Washington Capitals in round 1, they didn't dominate Washington at even strength. According to Evolving Hockey, New York finished with a 47% share of expected goals against the Capitals, but the Rangers were deadly on special teams, going 6 for 16 on the power play while killing off 15 of Washington's 17 power play opportunities. Not to mention, the Rangers spent a large chunk of the first round, nearly 70% of the total time on ice, playing with the lead. So we've got to take that into account. They had the luxury to sit back in that first round, but don't want to let them off the hook too much for that one. The Rangers' current Stanley Cup odds at NorthStar Bets plus 625. And as far as the Hurricanes' first round series against the New York Islanders goes, well, whether they were blowing a 3-0 lead or erasing a 3-0 deficit, they showed that they are capable of winning in different ways. It wasn't always pretty, but the Hurricanes did start to regain some of their form as the series went on. Carolina finished the first round owning 60% of the even strength shot attempts. The Islanders blocked 117 shots in 5 games and did a decent job limiting Carolina's chances, but their only win came in double overtime in Game 4. So while it might be tougher for Carolina to dictate the pace of play against the Rangers, I don't think it's going to be as tough to get into the slot and penetrate that inner slot, because during the last 10 weeks of the regular season, the Islanders ranked 5th in high danger chances against per 60 minutes, while the Rangers ranked 18th in that category, according to Natural Stat Trick. Of course, offensively, the Rangers are going to provide a much bigger test for the Hurricanes than the Islanders did. New York and Carolina finished neck and neck among the top 10 teams in goals per 60 minutes this season. Carolina, though, went 15-5 straight up to end the regular season following the acquisitions of Jake Gensel and Evgeny Kuznetsov. The Hurricanes were the top team in expected goals and shot attempts at even strength during that period, owning 60% share in each of those categories. Carolina hasn't had a lot of success against New York in the last 2 seasons either. They've gone 2-5 straight up since the start of the 2022-23 season, and one of their 5 losses since the trade deadline have come at the hands of the Rangers. The Hurricanes are the current Stanley Cup favorite at plus 385 currently at NorthStar Bets. So as far as my prediction goes, I mean, when I look at this series, you look at the Rangers, they might not have an obvious edge in any other category, but they certainly appear to have the best goaltender in the series. Freddie Anderson's been good, but he hasn't had very many games under his belt this season, and Shesterkin was excellent down the stretch. As the President's Trophy winner, the Rangers will start the series on home ice, which is an advantage they did not have in 2022 when they lost games 1 and 2. Additionally, the Rangers were just as good on special teams as the Hurricanes during the regular season, both teams finishing among the top three on the power play and the penalty kill. However, Carolina's ability to dominate during 5-on-5 play means that they're rated significantly higher than the Rangers. Therefore, the Hurricanes' chances of winning a given game in this series will never be below 50%. They'll likely be a favorite, at least in my books, in every single game. And that means they'll win the series close to 60% of the time. As you can see, Carolina won the series in approximately 60% of simulations. However, the series is expected to go over 5.5 games, i.e., 6 or 7 games, approximately 61.5% of the time. From a betting perspective, New York is currently listed as a minus 113 favorite. The Hurricanes coming back on the other side at minus 104. Meanwhile, the game total set at 5.5, the over minus 109, and the under minus 109 as well. This one set as a pick 'em, which makes sense considering 10 out of the last 17 meetings between these two teams have featured 5 goals or fewer. According to my model, home ice advantage is the only thing keeping the Hurricanes from being a true favorite. This one is a 50-50 matchup at MSG in game one, in my opinion. So if you ask me, the best way to approach this series from a betting perspective is to wait and see if there is an overreaction. And I think that could likely happen when the series shifts to Carolina, when they are the home team. You'll see the Rangers as a pretty big underdog at that point, and we might get a better picture of how these teams match up against one another, and it might be a lot closer than anybody thinks after games 1 and 2. But that pretty much does it for this episode of the Puck Portfolio. Good luck with your bets and gamble responsibly.